uh, the release of our final semester, and we'll talk about it. But for now, let's begin our class by saying a short prayer, shall we? Thank you. How many? You have two here? Yes. Who are going to guys, and there are two in online. Two online. All right, we'll do that. We'll listen to your friends first, and then we come with the discussions. 10 minutes each. Yeah, maximum. Okay, thank you. All right, so anybody, you can decide on the sequence who goes first. And I am going to do the feedback giving online on the draft. Okay, so anyone start now? Thank you.
Hello, Mas Edi. Do you want to show your draft?
Okay, Mbak.
You may go first. 10 minutes will be started when you start speaking. Hello, Mas Edi. Mas Edi, you are still muted.
Okay.
You can share your screen, then I will start the timekeeper.
Well, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Ma'am Ella, may you always healthy. Okay, directly, I wanted to present my paper. Here, in this opportunity, I try to do the research about EFL Magister student voices on blended learning, references, and challenges. Okay, in the introduction, first that I began to explain about blended learning has become one of the most widely adopted instructional approaches in higher education, particularly in English foreign language program. The integration of face-to-face classroom interaction with online learning environment is increasingly viewed as a promising model for supporting flexible, autonomous, and technology-enhanced language learning. It's stated by Ni Yong-Fus et al. In 2024. And next, at the second paragraph, here is Zhang et al. 2020 state the effectiveness of blended learning is tested by student perception, preference, and readiness to engage the technology support learning environment. Magister level AFL students who typically process higher academic expectation and workload bring unique perception about the usefulness, flexibility, and challenges of blended learning. And here's, according to Prawati et al. 2025, understanding their voices is crucial as they often balance academic demand with professional responsibilities, making learning mood preference an essential determinant of their engagement and achievement. And next, in the third paragraph, however, existing research has shown mixed findings regarding student attitude toward blended learnings, while some studies highlight its advantage such as increased autonomy, improved accessibility, and enhanced interaction. Other reveal persistence challenges, including technological barriers, uneven digital literacy, reduce motivation and difficulties managing online tasks. This dated by Rudy et al. 2007. And in the next paragraph here, Sarif et al. 2022 start explored FL Magister student voices is essential to designing more effective blended learning model. And therefore, this study aimed to investigate the preference and challenges experienced by EFL Magister students in blended learning environment with the goal of contributing to more responsive and student-centered blended learning practice in postgraduate FL education. So here in the last paragraph, therefore, a clear research gap exists in examining FL Magister student preference and challenges within blended learning environment through in deep student-centered process. Addressing this gap is essential for designing more effective blended learning framework that align with postgraduate learner cognitive, linguistic, and practice need. The study responds to that gap by exploring student voices to provide a more grounded understanding of how blended learning is experienced at the magister level and how it can be improved for advanced AFL student, AFL education. And next, at literature review, here I I chose several previous research first that, for example, like Rianto 2020. In this, his study with Indonesian AFL learners highlights that blended learning environment supports student engagement and over greater control over pace and learning pathway. This advantage demonstrates that blended learning is no longer considered a supplementary approach, but a mainstream pedagogical model aligned with contemporary digital learning expectation. And next, in the letter review, I try to state two theoretical framework provide a strong foundation for understanding blended learning in FL higher education. The Community of Inquiry (COI) framework introduced by Garrison, Anderson, and Archer 2000 posit that meaningful learning in blended and online setting emerges through the interactions of the three core elements: cognitive presence, social presence, and teaching presence. And the next proposed research that's, for example, uh, like Rianto 2020 and similarity with Nguyen's 2024 said the systematic literature review of blended learning in FL higher education reported that blended learning enhanced learning autonomy, motivation, and engagement, but identified concerns related to digital readiness, inconsistent introductional design, and uneven teacher support. The study qualitatively indicate that blended learning can significantly enhance FL learning experience with implemented with adequate preparations and pedagogical alignment. Uh, Research on blended learning challenges in higher education provides additional insight into this complexities, like Saran and Mandel's 2024 integrative review, which examines blended learning across global North-South context, identified persistent issues as passive student engagement, lack of training in digital tool, and inconsistent course design. Uh, so, although blended learning has been widely examined of higher educations, most studies focus on undergraduate learner or general student group, leaving postgraduate FL student underrepresented. Access research tend to emphasize academic writing, research skill, or technology, except with limit attention to how master students navigate blended learning in relation to uh, their heavier academic and professional responsibilities. Um, Moreover, while in the literature highlight the benefit of blended learning, further study explored specific challenges postgraduate FL learners face, such as cognitive load, digital fatigue, and sustaining motivation across online component. In the Indonesian context, research often center on infrastructure and general satisfaction without capturing student voices of their preference for specific interactional mode and technological tool. This gap indicates the need for more focused student-centered investigating into FL master student preference and challenges in blended learning environment. And the last method here, the research made an effort to learn how master students feel about blended learning, in particular educational research and other social scientists have created qualitative research methodologies to explore motivation, understanding, and communication. And the mixed method, which gathered quantitative data through questionnaire and qualitative data through interview, was selected by research because it can yield comprehensive data to accomplish object research. Here, this study inclusion of the researchers demonstrates the importance of research in data design, data collected, and data analysis. And the study was carried out at Jakarta University and University of Mataram in Lombok, especially in English language. Just that from me. Thank you very much. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hi, thanks, Eddie. Eddie, can you, or let me just do it. Thank you. Where is that? Yeah. Okay, so do you want me to put a headphone or is it okay? Apa kan? All right, so basically when we are looking at this draft, you have good gaps to start with, yeah. I think I have comments here. I'd like to highlight a few of them. First of all, in beginning your paper, I would suggest you connect to how the online instruction has become more prevalent due to the COVID, yeah, at the time. So this is a post-COVID development. So post-COVID, the emergence of online instructions has been more dominant because we've seen that students and teachers, yeah, can actually deliver instructions and have classroom running with online, and that allows teacher and students to, you know, establish more flexible and inclusive environment. So I think in that way, instead of saying, what do we say here? Well, I don't know if it has to do with self-directed learning. If that is the case, so you are talking about this is hybrid, right? Or blended. So if you want to highlight the reason as, you know, self-directed learning, I was thinking that this is going to be yeah, include synchronous and asynchronous, right? Modes or instructions. In that way, I think you want to also highlight, yeah, why it has been adopted in the higher education. So you are saying here a promising model, flexible, autonomous, technology enhanced. Well, that is quite okay as an intro, and you have also inclusive environment. And I think mentioning that the fact this been post-COVID emergence or development also is quite understandable, because momentum for online learning being more acceptable these days was the COVID, right? And suddenly the world has to move more to inclusive online environment than we saw in the past. And so I think that's quite relevant, in my view. So that's one. When you said that this study is about graduate students or master students, you perhaps want to say, how does the graduate programs differ for undergrad, in terms of their perspective? So why do you want to look at the online or blended learning only in master students? How asking the master students' opinion will tell you different story from asking undergrad students? Do you believe that they will tell different story? If so, why? I think you need to say this, Mas Edia. Don't simply jump into asking students in magister level without actually telling, the voices can tell you different story, or why it is important. What's the importance of asking magister level? You have here said that the HFPOS has higher academic expectation. I'm not sure that this is, unless you have evidence, or reference, you can say why we need to ask magister level students. Will they have different voice, or do you think that they are the users of blended learning? Because the number of students, graduate students doing study or postgrad study usually have been engaged in employment, in formal jobs, so they maybe cannot leave their job easily. They are committed to family, so this allows this makes graduate students have more needs to have blended learning. So you need to say this. Otherwise we don't know why you are graduate students as your online, as your population, or as your participants. Gitu ya. That's one. That's second. So here you have professional responsibilities, but I think the fact that you have chosen them in the beginning because they are users of the online or blended learning, and this could be acceptable reason to say that. Jadi not only one reason, but there are some other reasons. I think this is okay. What I didn't see is those two reasons in your beginning or in your introductions. Now, this is I think a good sentences to start with, stating your gap. And I think what I need to see more is how this is similar to Indonesian context. I'm not sure Rudy is from Indonesia, and you don't necessarily say it is in Indonesian context, right? So you have here already somewhere here, mana ya? But I think I didn't see how this is connected to Indonesian. So what I want you to say is how these two, ini dia, Gayatri and Lane are connected. They are talking about Indonesian. So Gayatri mentioned in Indonesia, there is a gap with the research. It's not necessarily research on blended learning only, right? Gayatri ini. Because you don't say here research on what, whether research on this. If this is about blended classes, so this is good. But then my question, whether Gayatri's research related to Lane. So here Lane, you quoted Lane to say that the literature mentioned by Gayatri lacks qualitative or mixed method studies. So whether the literature you meant here is the literature Gayatri reported, correct? Hello? Yeah, so is it
Yes, ma'am.
correct? Is the literature
Yeah.
here connected to what Gayatri claimed to be lacking of, say here, lacking focus on student voice, life experience, and preferences? Is it connected? Are they connected?
Yeah, they're
Because
connected, ma'am.
if you are looking at this one, Gayatri's published in 2023, this one in 2021. Yeah, jadi this is quite unlikely because what Gayatri mentioned, yeah, should be the other way around, right? Should be quoting from Lane who published earlier than Gayatri. So this is what we
Yeah.
call I'm not sure the term, but this is what we call when we simply, draw connection between two different references and making assumption on their connections. So this is well, maybe I'm not saying that like I've done better in this area, but what I'm saying is I learned about it that editors also check how your relevance actually support each other, because you made claim here on the gap, and I was about to think that this is a very developing sentences, development of gap that you wrote down here in the sentences, but then I looked at the reference. Nah, mungkin kalau memang itu tidak jelas mengacu pada Gayatri, ya nggak usah disebut ini mengacu di Gayatri, tapi simply mengatakan bahwa in addition to that, jadi there is an additional reference, itu saja, daripada mengakukan yang sebenarnya not necessarily related. Karena kan kata-kata the literature itu kan artinya literature yang ini, ya kan saya membaca
Yes,
koneksinya.
yes, ma'am.
Nah, apa betul? Makanya saya ngecek apakah betul. Kalau tidak, karena kalau betul harusnya you should be able to put the page here. Ya, karena this is strong. Misalnya Gayatri harusnya kalau if I were you, I would put a page. Because this is my sentences that show the gap. Yeah. And that's why you are saying here, you highlight, you reinforce, right? The gap here from those sentences. Nah, mungkin harus di ini ya, Mas Edi ya, diperjelas saja. Ya,
Okay.
oke, sekarang
Okay, ma'am.
this is okay. If you want to use this one, it's fine. Um, yeah, I think it's good to have that framework, and you can go on with that. Has been used a lot, but my questions is, did you identify particular technology tools or applications that are used in the blended learning? You asked this to
Uh, Especially just ask about the Zoom application, ma'am.
Oh, I see. All right. So that, then you can use it, but at the same time, thumb will only be useful if you specify the kind of technology, right? Yeah, okay. Going to this. Are you sure? Do you have time for this? Did you collected the data already? Okay, in Mataram.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, what did you collect? Did you collect the data?
Yes, I collect the data, ma'am.
Yeah,
I sent the
so
questionnaire to the student of.
so how did you develop this? There are many details that you didn't name here, didn't mention here. I think when we are describing method, and this is very particular in describing method, you need to be very plain, direct, and transparent. So what do you mean? What we meant by plain is you don't need to have many words. Just say what it is, the design you are using. Yeah. Participants. Oh, sorry, before that.
Mhm.
So you talked about design, about data. When you talk about data, you talked about the type of data, the collection, instruments, analysis, yeah, and interpretation if possible. Because you have a framework, you can say, yeah. And the analysis, are they based on quantitative and qualitative, and what ways or methods you used? And basically you talked about trustworthiness, yeah, or in your case, maybe validity and reliability too, because you are doing survey distributions. Yeah, I think that's very important. In the next one, you would then have to say participants or respondents, since you are doing how you select this sampling. Yeah, consent. Okay. So you think, have you mentioned all this here one by one? Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I
the
didn't see
time.
them there. And some sentences are theoretical, yeah, here. This is the ideal steps. But in other, we want you to say what you actually did, not what you should do, but what you actually did. So you need to say that. And how you address these components, yeah, should be done very plainly, directly. No hidden information. That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
that's Edith. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very
Okay,
much.
we can move to the next one. Yes, if you'd like to share screen, go ahead.
Wait a minute. Me, ma'am. Yes. Ini aku nggak bisa nge-set waktu ya. All right, 10 minutes, so I will stop 9:56. Okay, so here's the title is the teaching grammar to young EFL learners to find your home game. For the journals, it's in the Journal of Educations for Teaching, JET, in Taylor and Francis, and the format or the the structures of the article is so simple. For the best practice, it's just like a long paragraph without any discussions about the introductions, methods, or anything. So it's a blend in one paragraph. Yes, and here are the abstracts. So the teaching grammar to young EFL learners through Find Your Home Games is the we know that grammar instructions is the cornerstone of aspect of English language learning, but for young learners, it seems like very difficult for them or for the teachers as well. Like they confuse how to teach the grammar actually, and here for the and the empirical studies also shows that the students or the children struggle to apply grammatical knowledge to productive skills since the teacher usually teach them using drilling or just having the worksheet for for the students itself. And to overcome this challenge, the recent scholarship has highlighted that need to make grammar teaching more engaging, meaningful, and responsive to young learners' characteristics. If you notice what is the characteristics of the young learners, that's the inclinations toward the play, exploring language in fun way, and also in a low pressure settings. For these reasons, the teachers are encouraged to design activities that integrate linguistic structure with collaborations, creativity, and purposeful activity that make grammar learning intuitive and enjoyable. And one of the promising approaches is the language games. It's also supported by Martin, cited in Brewster's 2002, that considers game as a fun activity that offers young learners way of practice in a foreign language. But although the game has been conducted in teaching and learning process, but a little game implemented as a movement-based game for teaching grammar. since, as I said before, that teaching grammar often relies on the drilling and worksheets methods. So therefore, this short article reveals how the Find Your Home game is an innovative way to teach grammar for young learners. And for the next paragraph, that will be the participants and the context of the studies actually. And the next one will be followed by the actions, but I haven't done here before. And the next one is the conclusions. The article is a little bit short. It's like the draft and the mentor text that I had because the article is not more than 6,000 words. I think that's all. All right. Thank you.
Ya, ini cepat sekali tadi Mbak Ilma ya. Oke, ya, I think abstraknya harus diperbaiki. Judulnya saya suggest seperti ini. Terus ini kalimat pertama, oke. I just sometimes we are trapped in drawing assumptions than facts or observations. Ya, saya di sini ya. We are saying many students, many children struggle. This situation indicates traditional grammar teacher. But we didn't see here or somewhere in the previous sentences that the result of students struggle with grammar or with applying grammar knowledge to productive skills is due to traditional grammar teaching. So we haven't read this because previously you mentioned grammar instruction using game. Sorry, not even game, yeah. Only saying that grammar instruction being hard and irrelevant. Yeah, but you didn't say something about grammar instruction in current practice. Misalnya using our common practice of grammar teaching being traditional. You didn't say here. I think you need to say that first, so you can come with the next claim here that this affect students struggle. Yeah, students struggling with applying grammar to their production. Nah, seperti itu harus disebutkan dulu. Jadi tidak making I think this is assuming ya, kan kita assume di sini. Maksudnya membaca argumennya ada yang hilang. Ya, ini kan assuming bahwa semua readers tahu. Nah, seringkali Indonesian writers kan begitu, kita assume readers itu tahu. Tapi kan kalau di Western context, to my understanding ya, apa yang itu yang mengestablish assumption-nya. Jadi harus ditaruh di situ. Jangan berdasarkan apa yang asumsinya kita ketahui. So you know what find your home game is? Is it a movement-based games? Yeah, you mentioned here.
Yes.
So I think in second graph here, you should say more about how there are different games, one, and then how one of the games or one type of the game, which is movement game, can have more. So here, you need a reference definitely here. You cannot make claim without reference in here. And then I have already suggest that that instruction should be or should consider the nature of young learners who are playful, experiential learner, misalnya seperti itu kan. Nah, ini kan you are claiming bahwa any instruction, any instruction, especially grammar, should consider the nature of young learners that who are playful and focus on experience or hand-on activities. So I think to say that Yeah, you need to say that directly here. So I don't know, something about grammar instructions, yeah, should consider or pay attention or take into account, yeah, the nature of ale, yeah, ale kan? Who are playful, focus on experience and hands-on activities. Maybe, yeah, and then this needs, yeah, reference, of course, and that's why in that regard, and kan ini sebenarnya mengulang ini ya, sehingga and create, yeah, something more engaging, yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I think you just need to say here, yeah, being direct, yeah. Ya, langsung saja mengatakan Martin ya ini Brewster mesti dipakai nih kalau tail itu kemana-mana Brewster melulu ya. Ya, ya mungkin you want to say more, you want to include more reason ya, Brewster. Ya, for propose or argue ya that ya ini tadi instruction or learning activity should integrate linguistic through game. Gitu aja. Langsung aja through games. Language games ya, boleh disebut sebagai language games, boleh. Nah, ini sebenarnya bagusnya ambil yang lain ya, referensinya ya. Ini terlalu sering membaca deskripsinya S1 banyak banget yang pakai Brewster. Nah, mungkin di sini selain Brewster siapa ya? Jadi selain amongst ya different ya amongst language games ya, those that ini di sini mengatakan. Tapi ini kok lama sekali Mbak Ilma. Tapi kan bisa ditambah sama jurnal. Iya, buku boleh ya. Kalau misalnya dipakai buku boleh, hanya tadi edit with ya recent drafts gitu ya. Jadi kan kayak ini juga nggak cuman satu kan, itu ada Prensky, ada Wright. Nah, kenapa tidak ditambah yang jurnal kan? I think you not say something like this. You just say why movement games are not popular. Yeah, I think you need to say someone reference. Definitely you need reference here. Yeah. You cannot just say, yeah, why movement games are not popular or are not widely used and yeah, are not widely used for teaching grammar. What's the problem? You need to say that. Yeah, what the problem? That's your issue. Yeah, I think you need to have this. Yeah. So you sampled. So it's not you sampling because you are describing best, right? Yes. So it's not sampling. It's not the right way of saying. Yeah, you should say you want, so because we use movement game, you want to share your best practice in using movement games in your class. So that's how you do it. Jadi you need to suggest that movement games are very potential, can help improving quality of grammar instructions, and actually doable atau easy to do. And here is the best practice. Yeah, you need to set, but I think you need some sentences here. Add more sentences. Yeah. Why? Basically, why people should or teach should use movement game. Yeah, movement games more often for especially teaching grammar. And that is what to do. You want to suggest a practice, yeah, which you elaborate, yeah, in the first section. So I think maybe using a group of learners, yeah, in your context, and you want to say, you need then to describe the context of your practice, yeah, who your students are, what problems they have, yeah, whether they have the same grammar problems most EL students, yeah, have. What are they? Yeah, what are the problems and why use of movement games can help overcome those grammar problems among your students? Then you need to link back to the issue you mentioned earlier. Nah, harus muncul itu. I haven't seen it here, ya. Nah, kalau itu disebut sebagai extramural, ya nggak apa-apa, boleh-boleh saja. Tapi ekstra, kan itu di ekstra ya. Nah, apalagi itu di ekstra. Nah, berarti kan itu bukan di intra. Nah, kalau bukan di intra harus disebutkan konteks. Kan dia bukan di intrakurikuler. Bukan di kelas berarti kan? Ya, nggak apa-apa. Kalau itu setelah kelas atau extra curricular activities, then you need to explain. This is an extra. Your context is an extracurricular. In any best practice paper, you need to be plain and transparent about the context, because the aim is you want students, you want readers to believe in you that this is doable in their context too. And for that, you need to argue this is applicable or doable. Gitu ya? Oke, Mbak Ilma, thank you. Next.
Next will be me, Bu Ella. Kiki, yeah. Allow me to share my screen. Okay, is it clearly visible? All right. Okay, good morning, Bu Ella and friends. Thank you very much for taking time to join. So for giving me time to introduce and also to tell my introductions. Well, for my article writing up process, I am planning to submit it under the journal names Voices of English Language Education Society. And it's from Universitas Hamzan Wadi, and it's under the title Reconceptualizing I, which is integrated in CLIL, or Content and Language Integrated Learning using translanguaging and transsemiotising. All right. Okay, so well, actually it's still how can I say, it's not yet finished. So I'm just going to briefly and precisely explain the introduction, the gap, as well as how I will work on in the near future about this. All right, so the core of my work is to address a significant gap in our Indonesian CLIL classrooms and propose a practical pedagogical solution, which is in inserting and also, how can I say, incorporating two approaches, which are translanguaging and transsemiotising in the CLIL classroom. Well, I would like to begin with the problem. As we know that in multilingual CLIL settings, especially like the ones that we have in Indonesia, the teachers face a dual challenges, like they have to deliver a complex subject content, while also they have to, how can I say, developing students' proficiency in a target language, which is mostly English. So this is specifically difficult, especially for pre-service teachers, or let's say a less experienced teachers. Well, this issue that many educator are still aware of, which with these two approaches, actually can ease the burden, or the, how can I say, the problems that I just mentioned, which are these approaches are the translanguaging and the transsemiotising. Okay, so in this article, I am aiming at bridging this gap by moving from theory to practice and showing how these approaches can be intentionally and also how can I say, systematically used to benefit both teachers and students in during pedagogical practices, especially in the process of meaning making. Okay. So what actually exactly these two approaches mean? Well, in the simple terms, it's about, how can I say, these two approaches is about leveraging the full student's communication toolkit, like mentioned, as we can see here, that translanguaging is the dynamic use of multiple languages, like moving from students like the target language and the students mother tongue, like in Indonesia's context, like in Indonesia, or even a Japanese language and something. And on the other hand, transsemitizing itself goes beyond language, or it's actually the expansions of translanguaging itself. So it includes other modes of meaning making, like gestures, drawings, body movements, and digital media, and so on and so forth. Okay. As mentioned here, that the key argument in my article is that we need to shift our perspective that often translanguaging and transmitizing happens spontaneously in the classroom, like mentioned by Liu and in 2020, and also Silalahi and Santoso in 2030. But for them, it actually can be, how can I say, can be a planned systematic scaffolding, because these two from the paper of these two, from these two authors or researchers, prove that the combination or the incorporation of translanguaging and transsemitizing in a clear classroom would able, or how can I say, would is able to facilitate and also accommodate students in terms of the make it process, how can I say, meaning making process become more fluid. And this means teachers can intentionally design lessons with these practices in mind, so that by incorporating this, it can create a safe space for the students itself, especially to enhance their comprehensions, to grasp the content, as well as to develop or even to improve their language comprehension itself. Okay. Yeah, well, as has been asserted by Liu and 2022, that it's also the effectiveness of these integrations lies in its holistic view of communications. As I already mentioned, that in a clear issues, make the teachers or even the how can I say, the classroom activities become a dual focus. However, by incorporating this can make the lessons or even the classroom activities become a holistic view of communication. So it will not be, how can I say, overlapping, but it can um, work side by side, both the content as well as the language itself. Okay.
Kiki,
Yeah.
I've finished reading yours. Maybe you can
Mhm.
stop sharing and I can directly go to feedback.
Oh,
Thank
sure
you.
thing. Sure thing. Yes.
So here we have, oh, where is the, just a moment, I'll open it. Tutup tadi. Oh, this one. Okay, so this is Mbak Kiki's. So this is, so basically you are what do we say, introducing systematic scaffolding, which is, I think, a concept that is very timely and very how do we say, it's an emerging concept. So this is, I think, going to be appealing to many editors. The concept also combine transmutizing. So I think it suggests or it supports the idea of multimodality, which is the heart of the many related to not only materials development, but also curriculum development, as well as the multiculturalism. So I think this is going to be very appealing to the editor, the topic that you are raising here. So I'm looking at how you try to provide the, what do we say? It's not simply, steps or tips, but this is more principles. And the fact that you have sort of preparation, before practicing the theory, I think this is good. What I perhaps would like to see, indeed, you have mentioned is not finished. Yeah, you have mentioned this one, is indeed the way teacher, if they would like to do this, can apply this one in their daily practice. Some examples like this one, which you need to add more to my view, because if your way of writing this one will be telling how you did it in the class, so you're going to provide a specific section here, like you would contextualize the in context, of yours, and then how did you implement stage 1 and stage 2. In that way, I would expect, there is a sort of like lesson scenario that you have prepared, for you to go on, because this is actually not as much as, something you could see from worksheet, or from book teachers delivery, because scaffold provided by verbal instructions, by Amy, your verbal interaction with the students. So this is not easily captured or recorded, unless you are doing classroom observation. So that's maybe the challenge. You need to have a lesson scenario where some samples of activity, or maybe or interaction or engagement with students implement these practices, translanguaging and transsemotizing. So for example, only using L1, this is maybe not enough. Like, in what way this can be applied? So take one lesson scenario that Mbak Kiki has done before, maybe even choosing a topic, in to have a theme, so you can have like a theme that, how do we say, contextualizes your practice. So people can imagine later, okay, if I were to teach this topic, maybe it has to do with talking about animals, for example. So how would I be able to integrate this TL and TS principles? So that's more tangible later. But in terms of the context, this is okay. I think here I was thinking that systematic scaffold should be maybe added, with how this helps, how this gets done by making sure that teachers' talk is studied using TS and TL. Anyway, that's going to be your lesson, right? It's through teacher talk, right? The systematic scaffolding will be delivered. So there are a lot of ways of doing or providing scaffold, but I think because you are talking about TS and TL, so it should be from teacher talk. So I think the idea about teacher talk, apakah mungkin istilahnya teacher talk, ataukah yang digunakan dalam konteks ini maybe teacher Amy, I'm not sure. So this is about the use of term. If you are talking about TSTL, what best term should you use to refer to teacher talk? Teacher for verbal interaction with students. What term? Maybe because you read this, so you may have some understanding of what the best way to name the term. Apakah sebagai teacher talk, teacher medium of instructions. No, I think Amy is a concept. So that's not the thing. That's not the object. So teacher talk, I would just say, So you should say that this is done through teacher's talk as well. So somewhere here, so because we are reading this one, build background knowledge, use the student cell one to explain. So this is clear, right? Explaining, this is teacher's talk. It's teachers here doing the talk. So I think you should name this one right away here. Introduce how systematic scaffolding can be well, provided, or how teacher talk affords systematic scaffolding, and that's why the teacher has to make sure that his or her talk really include this few TL and then TS principles. That's maybe my most common. I was still, I think we need to see this one, to see it come. All right.
Okay, Bu Ella. Thank you very much, Bu Ella. I'm also planning, under this work, I'm planning to create a lesson plan. So does that mean I also have to create or insert the lesson plan here so that the readers can know, or in which, let's say, in which states that the translanguaging and also
Yes.
inserted.
So it's not creating, I hope, but it's your practice.
Mm. Yeah.
I mean, I know that in one way, if it's a best practice, it's like a recommendation. Yes, but at the same time, it could come up from your practice. So you have a practice that you refine all along the way, and then you can if you do this, there might be problems arising from this practice. So that's why you suggest the other way. And you cannot say that if you've never actually done it yourself, right? So that's why it's called practice, because it's your practice being refined throughout your time or your experience or service as a teacher. And then you can say it to other people, hey, do it. But do it in this, don't do it in that way. Because if you do it in that way, you might have problems. Because I have it. Because I had experienced the problems, and this is how I solved them. So that's the kind of tips that the students, the readers want to hear. But of course, having a refined lesson plan will have. Jadi kan kalau Mbak Kiki sudah pernah buat lesson plan, it's refined after you have known the principles, then you know better, and that's what you are suggesting. So you can say what is very important about doing this is you have to prepare students for this and this, or this is the problems that might arise if you skip these steps. Now that is, I think, a good format for best practice.
Thank you very much, Bu Ella.
All right, next.
I write about the young learners using increasingly using innovative strategies like flashcards to recognize vocabulary. So the next one is I write about the flashcards, the mini flashcards, and also in the last paragraph, I write about the flashcard material has been applied in the Montessori learning environment, where Montessori lesson combine flashcard material and Montessori media or apparatus. And then Montessori emphasize this innovation so that's learned directly in the environment without any outside intervention. So yeah, I just that you say before and by Ilma, I didn't write about the problems and the context, actually problems of vocabulary, and to have flashcards overcome the problem. So in the next one, in teaching methodology, I write the teaching methodology, the use of large movable alphabet, LMA, and flashcards. LMA is the media from Montessori media. And this one, the flashcard, I write the several stage using the LMA and flashcard. The first one is introduction of flashcards using LMA. This is the first stage. And the second one is interactive drilling practice. And the third one is about the repetitive, ma'am. So I think that's all, ma'am. Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay. But Fanny, this is okay. The first paragraph is good in one aspect because each sentence has a reference. That's what I like. And I would love a paragraph like this. You are writing one sentence, reference, vocabulary, reference, students, reference. It's a reference. So you are really meaning each of arguments. It's not simply, like creating assumptions or like taking references randomly. Yeah, so I hope you are really checking out that these references do just what you wrote here. Okay, I made a few edits. I think if you want to say about flashcards, then just directly go to how this will be potentially helpful or useful for your young learners. I don't know, is it young learners or the teachers? No, I mean, because you are here saying it is the young learners who use teaching strategies. Ya, kan mungkin teachersnya ya. Nah, ini kalau menurut saya ini repetisi, ini langsung aja dipindah ke sebelahnya mutar. Oh, sorry. I meant to write here, Mbak. Aisyah et al. 2000 berapa itu, Mbak? Nah, so this one. Nah, this is ya, oke. Ini kalau ada halamannya lebih bagus ya. I don't know with this. Kenapa tidak dilanjutkan saja ya gayanya? Flashcards are widely appreciated for their capacity to present new information. Oke, titik. Ini kan ini kan second benefitnya kan di sini. As a teaching aid, nah langsung aja. As a teaching aid, using flashcard can boost active students engagement, right? Oh, nah kan sini harusnya muncul. Oh, traditional flashcard approach. I don't know what does it mean by traditional flashcard approach. Ya, I don't know what do you mean by traditional. Berarti ada yang tidak tradisional kan? Kalau ada yang tradisional berarti ada yang ada yang modern. Is it true? Yeah, I think you want to focus on one use ya. One intinya using flashcard begitu kan, not conventional or modern. So I think you have a number of references and if they are saying the same, saying positive things about flashcard, ya itu dikumpulkan saja di atas tadi ya. Jadi just like the first paragraph you wrote ya, one sentence, one reference, one sentence, jangan repetisi ya, ini kan repetisi. So Chan, apakah they said something different from the previous references? If they said different things, you add the sentences. If not, if this is the same similar ones, ya ditambah saja, kan bisa dua reference ya, dijejer. Misalnya Nis and Yosep ya, tambahkan Chan. Tapi kalau disebutkan pertama kali nggak boleh begini loh. Sebutkan pertama kali harus ditulis lengkap. Coba, saya tidak tahu ini apa pertama kali atau tidak. Nah, kan harusnya ini nggak usah nih. Nah, I don't know why you suddenly talked about Montessori, Mbak. Why do you talk about Montessori? Kan you didn't say here.
Oh yeah, so I just want to talk Montessori because it's combined the flashcard and Montessori method.
Because your practice is a combination of that.
Yeah.
You're teaching in Montessori Kindi.
Before.
Oh, okay. All right. So, if you want to explain, because do you think Indonesian kindergarten will have will apply Montessori curriculum, all of them?
Yeah, in Kupang City, we use
Montessori
curriculum nouns.
I see. So, I think there needs some sentences here to introduce Montessori. Yeah. So how Montessori curriculum or approaches are now becoming more prevalent or more needed, and what's good about Montessori, which you can apply everywhere else. So we don't want to limit your practice to few schools only. Kan kalau jadi eksklusif, nanti jadi nggak luas dampaknya biasanya. Yeah, I think in schools ya generally flashcard itu mungkin ada tantangannya dulu ya. So you want to makanya punya subheading tuh membantu loh sebetulnya. I like to have subheadings. Yeah, because subheadings help me. If you don't want subheadings, later on remove them. Kan tapi ditulis dulu boleh. And then habis itu remove them. Ya kalau subheadingnya nggak usah, udah jelas. Tapi buat aja dulu. Kalau misalnya buat outline kan subheadingsnya, kalau saya ngetiknya dari outline lalu lama-lama saya hilangkan headingnya, harus jadi meninggalkan teks utuh. That's a technique size challenges. Yeah, you talked about challenges. So, yeah, what is hard or challenging? Yeah, about using flashcards. Apakah in terms of preparationnya apa? Jadi intinya kan before you are saying something is good, you say why it is not used a lot while it should be. Kan you are saying kenapa sih nggak banyak yang pakai flashcard padahal flashcard nih bagus gitu kan, sama seperti yang tadi you want to say kenapa nggak pada pakai main game gitu, banyaknya pakai online game saja misalnya, harusnya itu yang lebih movement gitu. Nah kan you need to say that So what makes the issue? So why people don't use? Ya, basically seperti itu. Lalu say something about Montessori. Montessori jadi. Why this should be a model. You want to say it's a model, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm confused here. You lost me here because you didn't say a word about what Montessori was or is before. And I think when you say about this is again, and anyway, you said it promotes hands-on learning itu Montessori-nya atau flashcard-nya. Ini dia, ini confusing. Ketika ngomong ini ya Flava ini, did you say about flashcards or did you say about Montessori? Yeah, I think if to then contextualize in Kupang, as you are teaching there, you are practicing flashcard with Montessori, but ya atau media. You can say that. Tapi you need to establish dulu. Yeah, why flashcards, despite their usefulness, not widely used? Yeah, you need to argue for that. Ya, ini maksudnya apa? Tentang flashcards or Montessori-nya. Ya, oke, ini dia. Sorry.
About the teaching methodology.
Yeah, I think you don't need to say teaching methodology. I think I think Mbak Kiki's model can be used as an example where she said about principles in using Montessori in using flashcard dengan Montessori model, what you did. So it's always between what should you use or what should you do and then what you actually did. What you actually did corresponds to what a theory says, then that's good. Or maybe sometimes you have done some modification. Yeah, you are modifying what theory suggests, and then you still get successful for what you practice. Yes. And then that's okay. Nah, ini sudah ada tipsnya. Jadi kan ini sebetulnya your practice kan. So your practice is not description of a lesson. You need to remember. Hello, yeah. It's very important. When describing a practice, you do not simply describe one particular lesson. Yeah, do not view your best practice as one lesson description. So you describe basically is the accumulation of practices. Yeah, using particular technical strategy here. But you can suggest a sort of, as I said before to Mbak Kiki, lesson scenario or lesson plan that would serve as a model for any flashcard uses in future. This should be applicable to many settings. Do not limit the application to only one setting. Nanti orang lain jadi, wah kalau ini nggak bisa. Gitu, kalau mau baca harus ada ini, nggak bisa. So if you suggest Montessori method with media from Montessori, then can you suggest what are the alternative to the model, to the method if they don't have it? If they don't have the tools, they don't have the media, how could you replace them? Yeah, I think that's the idea of best practice. Yeah, you do not limit that application to one setting. If you did, then people see, this is not working in my context. It wouldn't work. Ya, ini jadi mungkin harus berangkat dari, kita boleh ya, berangkat dulu dari ideal ya, principles ya. Tadi ide seperti yang dikemukakan Mbak Ki, jadi from theory itu practice ya. Jadi from ideal ya to practice ya, actual best gitu ya, actual tapi best. Kenapa best? Karena ternyata tetap ada apa namanya sukses ya yang diperoleh atau manfaat. Ya, so this is namanya teacher's knowledge ya, because this is specific, it's your practice gitu ya, your practice. Nah, kalau seperti ini kan berarti harus hati-hati when you are doing this. Maybe they can say, this not be applicable. Nah, kecuali Mbak melakukan action research. So, are you reporting an action research? Kalau ini misalnya partisipannya ada 10 orang, age-nya ini, lalu saya melakukan A, B, C, itu sudah mereport action research.
Because this is based on my experience.
Ya kan, you did it, right?
Yeah.
You did it, right? Nah, you just have to recollect. Portfolio dulu ada dokumen siswanya ngerjain tas-tasnya itu apa worksheetnya masih disimpan, fotoin, terus pernah ukur nggak, paling nggak kan kalau action research kan tidak kuantitatif. Jadi sebetulnya learning gain itu not necessarily only angka. You can say there's engagement. As you say, kan creating better engagement, active engagement, students are motivated atau apa-apa. Nah, itu juga sebagai sesuatu yang diperoleh. Learning gain-nya itu tidak necessarily harus skor melulu. Jadi boleh engagement, mau motivated, itu boleh. Nah, kalau memang sudah ada, mending dibuat action research. Nanti tinggal minta temennya mereportkan ya. Find someone suruh ngisi checklist atau field notes. Udah jadi action research. Nah, malah menarik. Ya kan itu best practice kan, action research kan sebetulnya juga based on best practice. Okay? I think you need to move to that because you have this one, you describing bits by bits. And if it is particular to your context, then that's an action research, yeah, small action research. Yeah. Thank you. Next. Siapa ya?
Mas Mahen.
Me, ma'am. Okay. Okay. Good morning, everyone. The Honorable Ma'am Ella and friends from English Language Learning and Teaching Innovation. Today, I will present a best practice titled Leveraging TikTok Duets for Low Anxiety Speaking Fluency in EFL Class. This presentation focuses on how TikTok's duet feature can help reduce student speaking anxiety and improve their speaking fluency in EFL class. And okay, this is the introductions. In the first part, I describe about the importance of speaking skills. Speaking skills are one of the most important aspects in the process of learning EFLs, and it serves as the key indicator of communicative competence and is central to real-world language use. However, for many learners, speaking is also the most challenging skill. Students
Pun nggak
often,
ada ya?
yeah,
Sorry, found it.
yes, because
Go on.
yes, because they feel nervous, scared of making errors, and or embarrassed when speaking publicly. And according to Hussein all, this is called speaking anxiety. And according to Hussein et al., anxiety is in speaking foreign language impairs performance in oral communication since students focus more on the error rather than on the message that needs to be conveyed. And therefore students become passive, seldom to participate and tend to avoid activities about speaking skill in the class. And in the real life of teaching speaking, mostly teacher teach speaking skill normally using such as memorization, exercise in dialogues, and or class presentations. And these methods do not always work with all students, especially for those who have a high level of anxiety. And therefore, teacher need to need more engaging approach to enable students to practice speaking skills in more relaxed and pressure-free environments. And in this modern era, there is social media platforms, and students also already familiar with social media in as part of their lives. So among these, there is a TikTok. TikTok presents enormous potential in the context of language learning. And also TikTok is widely popular social media application focused on short form video content. And according to Green et al., uh, TikTok TikTok is popular, and according to popular before after the COVID-19 pandemic, and according to Green et al., this is because this course a search that saw TikTok increase beyond 2 million worldwide mobile downloads by April 2020, and a broader, more diverse users base beyond its initial Gen Z demographics. And this huge rapid growth cements TikTok position as strong global competitor to establish social media gains. And let's talk about the feature of the TikTok. TikTok
Ini ada
app.
timingnya nggak ya?
I think
Go on.
the TikTok allow users to create and share small videos, music, text, and all types of visual and audio effects. And with these features, users can record videos alongside other users' videos. And here, I describe about the integration of TikTok duet features in learning process, because the integration of this feature first will create a low anxiety learning environments, will provide students with opportunities to learn from authentic language models, both native speakers and other proficient TikTok users, in English through imitation of pronunciation, intonation, and expression to acquire natural speaking fluency. And the third, TikTok also encourages students to be active content creators and not just recipients of knowledge. And let's talk about the previous studies about this integration of TikTok in speaking skills, teaching speaking. And the first one, for example, Meliana and Sally, 2023, found that the use of short social media-based videos can enhance EFL students' motivation and speaking fluency because it enables them to build interactive learning experience. And also, Salazar Rosas et al. 2023 report that students who joined a TikTok-based video project showed good improvement in speaking confidence and mastery of pronunciation. And the last is Ngo, 2024, who conclude that TikTok, through its duet feature, helps students overcome anxiety in speaking English because they feel free to express themselves without direct social pressures. So these previous studies lead to conclusion that the use of TikToks, but particularly through the duet feature, has potential to become innovative strategy in developing speaking fluency and reduce speaking anxiety in EFL students. And based on this background, the purpose of the best practice is to explain the implementation of TikTok duet features as a medium to improve the speaking fluency and reduce anxiety between
Right.
students in EFL context, ma'am.
Yeah.
And there is
Mas
question.
Mahen,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I think I've got the ideas. So this is going to be a best practice, right?
Mm,
Atau what?
No.
Research.
I think Richard, ma'am. I just want to explain my best practice in using TikTok for to reduce the anxiety in my class.
Yeah,
Student
because
anxiety in my class.
I got confused. So look
Mm.
at this one. You are saying here the best practice, but then you say something else, this research. So what do you want to do? This paper, what is the paper about? A best practice or research?
Best practice, ma'am.
Okay, but it's not
Yes.
it's not research, yeah. So
Yes.
clear, yeah, on that.
Mm.
So if this is a best practice, as you have listened to previous presentations ya from your friends ya, udah ada Mbak Ni, ada juga Mbak Ilma, Mbak Kiki tadi juga, and I think Mas Edi ya. So I think we have understood, yeah, clearly there are things you would have to do as a best practice paper, and we can start from stating, yeah, why speaking anxiety is important to deal with. And I think you should mention, yeah, FLA, yeah, foreign language anxiety. And specifically is the speaking anxiety. I didn't see it here, but the study of foreign language anxiety has been very well established. So if you are finding articles, if you are trying to find the articles, it's not going to be hard at all. I did some edits here. I think you want to say that speaking anxiety needs different method, yeah, for overcoming, and that's TikTok will be your suggestions, and the use of TikTok may, as you said, leverage, yeah, the use of technology that is very close to young or even teenagers or for learners, yeah, and they are at the heart of digital use, and using TikTok can not only motivate them and also help them develop the skill. I think you need to say that for first and foremost. But here, you sound repetitive to me because you, yeah, tadi ya, as I did edit here, you repeated the same things. Up to this point, yeah, look at this one. Up to this point, want to focus directly how can the use of video. This is video, yeah. TikTok is a video, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is actually video-based instructions. So you want the video as a media, yeah, help students to overcome it. And the way we use it is teachers integrating the media into his or her teaching. So I think in this way, yeah, you have to say how research has what research, not how, what research has found, uh in relation to techniques or strategies or media for overcoming tadi apa? Speaking anxiety.
Anxiety.
Yeah, you need to say that. So you do not suddenly jump into proposing TikTok. So maybe talked about here first. What are the digital media being used? Yeah, for example, how research. But there's a reference, yeah, when I said research, yeah, shows, yeah, something like shows that the use of digital media can help reduce the effect, the impact, the bad negative effect of anxiety in classroom, anxiety in speaking instruction in classroom, when anxiety, in speaking, during speaking activities, during speaking activities or lessons. It's up to you, it's your styles. But basically, you need to have examples mentioned, taken from literature. This, the part, what you call previous studies. So you report it and compared one literature to another in order that you highlight what has been found and how can your TikTok model be tadi added into the list of so many strategies been reported already. So what made your TikTok strategy different from the ones reported? Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
So misalnya use use video from blah 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 to help students practice doing role play misalnya, and this was reported to have decrease students anxiety or nervousness due to because seperti itu. Lalu B also gitu maksud saya recommends using video something to help ease the tense among students who had to do something in speaking classes. Do you understand me? Now, you need to say that one first, and then you need to then claim how can your TikTok contribute to that. Atau similar, atau what is specific about your TikTok technique. Nah, itu yang saya mau lihat itu dulu. You don't need to explain about what TikTok is. TikTok, maybe very simple aja, one sentence. TikTok is a platform launched by ini, itu aja.
So I have to
TikTok
do
itu
this,
platform
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I see. I thought it's a name. A name a phenomenon. I don't often or use or follow TikTok unless they come to my thread. Okay, so you have here this one ini dua sentence ini aja, dua sentence yang dipakai. Nah, lainnya nggak perlu.
Okay, ma'am.
Ya, nggak perlu kan, ini nggak ada hubungannya. Mau TikTok dia sampai ribuan dolar, it's not related. Ya, jadi informasinya diambil yang perlu saja. Nah, what TikTok does, nah ini boleh. Nah, ini semoga ini sudah diparafrase ya. Masih kan sudah diparafrase ya. Be very careful. Nah, ini kan telat ini. Mas, ini telat ini loh. Kan tadi harusnya bicara TikTok. Oh, tapi ini TikTok sudah akan diintroduce di sini. Oh, yaudah, oke, boleh. So, what TikTok can do? But this is how many paragraphs already? 1, 2, 3. I would just don't want going further from here. So you need to finish discussing TikTok benefits here. Ya, di sini ya. Lalu di sini sudah harusnya masuk tadi from theory to practice. Other principles in using what are the methodological underpinning theories. Jadi kita boleh lagi from theories to practice yang tadi digunakan Mbak Kiki. Jadi theories itu adalah maksudnya adalah methodological underpinningnya apa? Jadi misalnya when using TikTok in speaking, you need to make sure that it supports students fluency atau accuracy. Berarti TikTok will be used as an input atau as a model ataukah justru sebagai platform for them to produce. So this is input-based activity, or is it going to be output-based activity? Do you understand me?
Yes,
If
ma'am.
this is going input-based activity, we use video as a modeling only. But if it is an output-based activity, so we are using TikTok to help produce the speaking performance. So I don't know. So this will
produce,
be
ma'am.
your, it's up to you. This is your practice. You need to understand having this. And then you contextualize, you describe your practice. How describing is contextualize dulu. Contextualize your teaching context. Nobody knows where you are teaching unless you're telling people, right? So you contextualize it. When contextualize itu maksudnya tidak sekedar menyebut, tapi misalnya memposisikan kota kecil di Kupang dalam peta internasional. So why is a little Kindi in Kupang be relevant to international readers? So what are the characteristics in Kupang Kindi that might be relatable to international readers? That's what we meant by contextualizing. So you can bring in the problems the students have. These problems are similar to any EFL learners around the world. You can say that. So that's why the same kind of similarity, because they are young learners, or in your case, they are teenagers. They're also exposed to technology. They are exposed to YouTube. They are exposed to TikTok. So TikTok is in their daily menu. Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Nah, kalau di sini Mas mengangkatnya crescent ya. Nah, do you understand what crescent affective filter means?
I just read the the theory, ma'am.
I think you don't understand it. Yeah, I think you don't understand it. To my understanding, and this has been very long in my linguistic class, crescent affective filter is saying something like this. So as an EFL learners, we have developed a mental filter that would later demotivates our learning processes. If you have positive affective filter, you are seeing English as a way of maybe achieving your goal. It could be instrumental orientation in that you are learning English because having good English helps you get good grades, good job, maybe other access to welfare and career promotion. At the same time, affective filter can be negative in that they associate learning English as a threat to their identity. They are seeing English as something strange, something foreign, something not associated with their truth, with their true identity. They are feeling English is actually a foreign, and it is a foreign language. So that's why I feel it's not related to them, to learners, and they had this negative filter that would stop them to become good in English. Maybe they would associate English as threatening, because when they don't speak good English, they got threatened with their sad anxiety, they're not performing well, so they can get negative judgment, they can get bullied if they have negative bad performance in English. And that's why it is very strongly emotional, because this has to do with them connecting to their mental association with English learning and English figure. So sometimes developing motivation can help create positive filter, because if we can stimulate students to think that being good in English will help them later do this and do that, that actually is going to be good. And then create good association. But at the same time, what happens in the class often does the otherwise, ya kan? So students are becoming more frightened because, as you said, they didn't have enough preparation. Suddenly they have to do performance. And then the teacher doesn't provide maybe good modeling, still ask students to do the performance. So this is quite counterproductive. But in that way, you need to say how TikTok can help effective filter. Will they create good image of good speaker of English, or will they help in tadi ya easing the process of learning and producing English, yeah, spoken English. So you need to say that. I think you don't say this one clearly. Yeah, Mas, yeah. All right. So if you are doing this, you have to go with yeah, the next step will be discussing how you contacts ya using TikTok in the class. Nah, di sini belum ada ya. Ini kan baru tujuan ini. Sebelumnya ini langsung aja, Mas. This is to repetition, 2 minute repetitions. Jadi langsung saja di sini principles-nya apa. Ya ini ya, principles-nya bagaimana, lalu praktisnya. Oke? Jadi ini principles-nya langsung. Terus nanti hasilnya tadi ada findings or hasil. Ini kalau ada di sini too long, too many. Ya. So ini lebih ke what effects ya you observe and what promises can you give for those doing the suggested practice. Gitu kan intinya kan? That's all. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. It's 11. I'm afraid everybody. It's 11 and I need to stop, Mbak Ilma and friend. I need to stop. There are 4 more. 4 more, right? Yes.
Oke, jadi
final examination on 5 December. 5
Desember hari terakhir.
Desember puasa.
Oh gitu.
Jadi jadwalnya 5 Desember.
Ya, oke. Tapi ini tadi belum menuliskan tuh di mana pada akan submit ya. If not, you should have ya. Yeah, but you didn't look. You understand? You should have written down the target journal, yeah, in your class. So the template should follow the journal convention. Can you write down who's coming today?
I think all of the students are coming to the classroom. But so for the attendance, we'll do it manually or how, ma'am?
Yeah, I am doing it because
Okay.
it's late, yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Nadia.
that will do for today. I'm sorry, I cannot finish everybody's work.
Sorry, ma'am, you are muted.
Sorry. So I'm sorry, everyone. I cannot finish everybody's work because it's 11 and I've been late for joining accreditation meeting. Yeah, at the meeting akreditasi every day. So I'll do it for all of you. Yeah, for today, and let's reschedule another meeting for us to talk about the few articles, but also to give some wrap-up sessions. And we are working on a webinar. So we are trying to discuss the date with our partners. I'll let you know when it's fixed. Yeah, just can't think of this at the moment as I'm preparing for my leave for China as an assignment from UNY. So I will let you know about it later. Hopefully following 20, I'll be back on the 24th. So I can perhaps meet you on the 25th, but I'm afraid that will be nah, that's the problem. I don't know what your class is in the morning. Is it in the morning? 25th in the morning nggak? Kalau it's in the morning, maybe we can still have some Zoom, but if it's not, it's hard because we have raker, ya, rapat kerja universitas. I have to tell you exactly, yeah, what time, and you tell me what time is it on 25. Ya, nanti kita set up. Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Let's call it. Oh, 10. Oh, no, that's impossible. Kalau jam 7, saya masih bisa. Itu aja. Do you have other exam? I don't know. Alright. Mungkin kalau jam 7-nya malah bisa daripada jam 9 ya, karena jam barangkali udah ya. Remind me of that. Ya, remind me of that. It depends. I don't know if this room will during exam kan udah di jadwal-jadwal nih. Kan tidak seluang malah sebelum. Nah, if you find it, you can. If you can do online. I think better online. Yes. Yesterday I fix ya. 25th, 7:30, better online ya. For next meeting. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.